Good morning. This is Father Stephen Kelly from St. John's Church in Detroit. And we are continuing our series of daily morning meditations where we generally look at one or another lessons that are assigned for morning or evening prayer, what is known as the Daily Office Lectionary. And today is Saturday, and I thought we'd do something a little bit different. We'd actually look at the Old Testament lesson from Genesis. Now, if you've been reading evening prayer or morning prayer, I hope you have been, you've been reading all four of the lessons that are assigned in the lectionary. But we've been going through Genesis for quite a while, and we have the last week or so been dealing with the story of Joseph. Remember, Joseph was the precocious younger brother of the other brothers of Jacob, of course, Israel. And the other brothers, after his vision and a dream that they would serve and worship him, decided to off him, but then his younger brother decided, oh, let's just throw him in the pit, thinking he'd let him go. And then once they threw him in the pit, lo and behold, they sold him into slavery, right? Some slave traders. He ends up in Egypt, has a rough time in Egypt, but slowly, by God's grace, becomes Pharaoh's right-hand man. And when a great famine comes because of God giving to Joseph in a dream the premonition that's coming, Egypt is prepared to feed the entire world. And so, lo and behold, who comes to Egypt to get food because they're starving but his brothers? And so they've been once. They gave the money, they got the food, they got back, the money was back in the bag. Joseph had ordered the money to be back in the bag. Now they're scared to death. One brother did not go with him the first time. Now he's asked to meet that brother, and they have begrudgingly agreed to send the brother back with them. And so we'll pick up there. They've returned once again to Joseph. And when Joseph saw Benjamin with them, he said to the ruler of his house, "Bring these men home and slay and make ready, for these men shall dine with me at noon." And when Joseph came home, they brought him the present which is in their hand into the house and bowed themselves to him in the earth. And he asked them of their welfare and said, "Is it your father well, the old man with whom you spake? Is he yet alive?" Right? They don't know. They don't recognize Joseph yet. And they answered, "Thy servant our father is in good health. He's yet alive." And they bowed down their heads and made obeisance, just like he predicted in the dreams, right? And he lifted up his eyes and he saw his brother Benjamin, his mother's son, and said, "Is this your younger brother of whom ye spake unto me?" And he said, "God be gracious unto thee, my son." And Joseph made haste, for his bowels did yearn upon his brother, and he sought where to weep, and he entered into his chamber, and he wept there. And he washed his face and went out and reframed himself and said, "Set on bread." And they set on for him by himself, and to them by themselves, and for the Egyptians which did eat with him by themselves, because the Egyptians might not eat bread with the Hebrews, for that was an abomination unto the into the Egyptians. And they sat before him, the firstborn according to his birthright, and the youngest according to his youth. And the men marveled one at another. And he took and sent messes unto them from before him. But Benjamin's mess was 5 times as much as theirs, and they drank and were merry with him. Okay, what we mean by messes, we mean food, right? Like a mess hall, right? So he gives Benjamin 5 times the amount of food that the brothers are eating. So we have this wonderful, Joseph recognizes his brothers right away, but Joseph's now a grown-up. He's got a beard, he's in Egyptian clothes. They don't recognize him, and that will come in the coming days when he does reveal himself to them. But what God intended for evil, to have for these brothers to off their brother, God intended for good, right? The iron entered into Joseph's soul, made him tough, and God put him right in the place to save the Hebrew people from starvation. So it is a really very remarkable story. We thank God for that. I'm always touched to hear Joseph wept. That he was so moved with emotion seeing his brother. Remember, Jacob had children with 4 women, right? Leah and Rachel, as well as their maids, and so this one and Joseph, right, Benjamin and Joseph have the same mother, and so that's why he's especially dear to him. So anyway, Saturday. We get ready for worship tomorrow at St. John's Church. Thanks be to God. 7:30 morning prayer, 8 o'clock Holy Communion, 10 o'clock Holy Communion, and 5:30 evening prayer with the opportunity to receive communion. And it is Rose or Laetare Sunday, which means we'll wear those wonderful rose vestments tomorrow. And I do hope that we will see you in church. God bless you.